Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this tricks and technique video. This is kind of part one of a two-part section for inking and blending. Today we're going to look at inking and blending in general, and then tomorrow we're going to look at ombre inking and inking on embossed card, things like that. So this is perfect for beginners or knowing where to start if you're not a messy crafter. Because I'm not really a typical messy crafter, but sometimes I do like to get my hands dirty and try different effects. So I'm going to run through a few of the basics today. The first thing is, when you're inking and blending, you tend to get very messy if you just use it on your craft mat. So I've got what's called a splat mat, and it's just a piece of silicone plastic, quite thick, and it's easy clean so that you can ink and blend, and it gives you a good slip, and I'll show you what I mean as I'm inking, but it means that you can slip over it onto your card or paper. The next thing is little tools that you might need for inking and blending. You can get the rectangular ones, you can get the circular ones. In a video that we've just done, we've looked at organisation for inking and blending and how to actually store your little round blenders. So that's a good one for anybody that does like inking and blending and doesn't know how to store them. But I'm going to be using the basic rectangle blending tool today. Mine is very old and very loved. So yours, if you're just a beginner, will be all new and white. Don't worry that they change colour, because they're just holding the ink. And the older they are, the more ink they hold, sometimes the better that they work. So next, what I'm going to use is, I'm just going to use a standard piece of white card. This is roughly about 180 grams. And it's not watercolour card, it's just a crafter's card. It's uncoated. Now basically, if you've got card that's coated, it means it won't hold any ink as well as uncoated. Coated is more porous than the sorry, I'm getting it the wrong way around. Uncoated is more porous than coated. If you've got any coated paper, which you'll be able to tell because as you add water or any kind of liquid, it starts to peel away. So I'm just using standard white uncoated card. Now, I personally don't always use distress ink to ink and blend. To start with, I'm going to show you how to use the distress ink, but then we're going to move on to some ink from Anna Griffin, because I just want to prove that you can, whatever ink pad you've got, you can use it to ink and blend. It doesn't matter. So let's start. The first thing I do is take my blending tool and I just dip it into the ink, dab it a couple of times. I'm not swirling it, I'm simply dabbing it onto the pad. Show you side view. So I'm taking my blender and I'm just dabbing it like that. So then I take the pad to the card and I simply start in one corner and I make swirling movements like that. So already you can see that the colour is going onto the card. There we go. Now I'm pressing harder at one side, so it's on an angle like that. So as I'm blending, the corner will pick up more colour than going into the side, into the piece of card. If I press straight down like that, I'm going to get a completely different effect, more of a stippled effect. But we're using just the side of the blender, and it's as if you're pushing the ink onto the card. So I'll dab again and then go back onto the card and hold it again at the angle so that round the edges it's picking more ink up and it's darker. The darker you want it, concentrate on just one area. I'm going quite slow really, just to be able to show you how to do it. So then you build up, going all the way around the card. Now you can do all the card or just a section, it doesn't matter, it's completely up to you. That's what crafting's about, there's no rules. If you prefer to go flat and all the way onto the card, that's up to you. It's just getting the ink on there to give it some colour. So I'm just going to speed up a little bit, and then as you see the blotches when they appear on the card, you can ink those out, because with a distress ink the colour is standard. As you build it up you're inking those in and it's as if you're erasing them with more colour. And let's see if I can make a mistake and get it really dark there. So I've now put a line onto my card and I don't want that. So I'm going to keep inking and see if we can erase that and blend it in to the surroundings so that it literally takes it away. Now the whole point of inking and blending is to get the effect on the card or the paper of colour. Now I'm using all one colour, tomorrow we'll use different colours to get the effect. We build up the colour at dark at the edge, lighter towards the middle, blending all the time as we go. Remember, this is just flat card, just to show you how to actually blend it in. So for anybody that's more advanced, you might be thinking of switching off. That's fine. So tune in tomorrow, and we'll do ombre inking, which you might find interesting. But for anybody that's never used ink to blend, this is a great technique. Okay, so now what we've done is we've pulled all the ink in and we've got a focal point in the centre, which could be for a sentiment, something like that. You could go on to add another colour. You can use that as a layer, which is what I would normally do. So I would use that as some kind of layer underneath a sentiment. So then you've got the tonal of ink. So that's using distress ink. I just want to show you using a normal standard ink. And I'm going to use the Anna Griffin red. So I'm using my circular blending tool, and I want to show you it on a stamped image, because you've seen it on a plain piece of card which you're thinking, oh, what am I going to use that for? So imagine your plain piece of card with a stamped image. Now this is a stamp that I've got from Spellbinders, and you're going to see this on a couple of the demonstrations, because I want to sort of keep using the same stamp so that you can see it used in different ways. So again, I just go in there with my tool and I start around the edge, just as we have done on the full demonstration before. So I'm picking up the ink and I'm going quite light around the edge, not quite as heavy as the distress ink, but bear in mind this isn't classed as a distress ink, this is classed as a stamping ink. But just because you've got your stamping inks, don't just keep them on your shelf, try them. try using them for different techniques. So then that is perfect, and it just shows that you can use your different inks using your blending tools to get different effects and just build up the colour. You don't have to go fast, just take it nice and slow. Just remember nice swirly movements, because you're pulling the ink from the mat and your tool onto your paper, and that looks gorgeous. Just needs everything colouring in, which is a bit of a clue for something coming up later in the month. So that, I'm happy with that. Now when you're finished, I always put my blending tool away, lid back onto my ink pad, and the splat mat is easy clean, and simply use a wet wipe and then a paper towel to clean up. That will pick up all the ink, and then you're ready to go. Drying it off with your paper towel, you're ready to go with something else. So I hope that's helped with general inking and blending. And what we'll do tomorrow is we'll look at a little bit of a mixing technique for using different colours. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and it's just given you a little bit of an insight into a different technique. And hopefully you'll join me tomorrow. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.